You've built your company over the last 20 years, now what? Many of you are probably at that stage right now where you're starting to feel a little burnt out and you want to take the opportunity to spend more time with your family and friends, but you don't know where to start. You're trying to figure out how do you transition out of your business. So I'm going to talk about 5 different ways that you can do that. I'm going to also talk about the pros and cons of each option so that you have an idea of what is out there and to try to start thinking about what is going to be the best fit for you and for your family. So the first option is a strategic sell. And in this case, you are typically selling to a competitor or you're looking to sell to a company that can utilize your service as an extra bolt-on to what they're already doing. In this case, you're most likely going to get the highest value for your company. And a lot of that is because whoever is acquiring your company looks at you as an immediate revenue stream that they can get right off the bat. In addition to that, there's synergies that could be in place that would make it more efficient for the company to be able to run. Some of the cons with this is that there could be some issues as it relates to the people aspect of it. So as you look at 2 leadership groups coming together, there may be some issues where there could be some impacts to potential staff. There could be some conflicts in terms of what one team sees as a priority compared to the other. In addition to that, there could be technology issues. So as you look to integrate your company, there could be some issues with how do you integrate the technology between the 2. So that's a strategic sell. The second option is to do a private equity sell. So in this case, you are selling to a third party, a private equity firm that is primarily looking at your business as an investment opportunity. In these situations, they will typically acquire a majority of stake within your company, keep you on board for about 3 to 5 years, and look to sell your company again within 3 to 5 years. So during that time period, they want you to stay on board. They want you to continue to run the company as you have been. Now, that being said, because they own the majority stake in the company, the con to that is that you lose some control there. So they have the ability to come in and take whatever control they want and run the business without you necessarily having a say. So that is a con to that, and a lot of business owners that I talk to, because you've owned this business for so many years, you've done things your way, it's hard to take direction from somebody else. However, on a positive note, this gives you an opportunity to get what's called a second bite at the apple. What I mean by that is at closing, you will typically get some type of cash benefit from the sale. Then you'll also typically get some type of equity within the private equity firm. And in this case, when they go to sell the company again, you're going to have an opportunity to cash out there as well. So those are the pros, the cons obviously being the loss of control. Third option is you want to look at management buyout. So in this case, you are selling to your leadership team. Now, you're not always going to get the highest value for this because you want to make sure that the leadership team can afford to acquire the company. And in most cases, they won't have the full amount of cash. And so they'll be looking at the cash flow from the business to be able to pay you for the acquisition of the company. So positives here are that you are able to make a smoother transition because you have individuals that have been with the company most likely for a good amount of time, and they can pretty much take over right where you left off. And in some cases, you have maybe separated yourself from the business to where it's already running on its own as it is. However, on the flip side of that, if you haven't done that and the business is still heavily reliant on you, that could be a challenge because that management team may not be able to come in and run the business on their own. So that is one of the bigger challenges with doing a sale to your management team. The fourth option is going to be an employee stock option program. And in this case, you are actually selling the company, a portion of the company, to your employees. Huge benefits when it comes from a tax perspective. You're able to take some significant advantages depending upon how it's structured. In addition to that, you're obviously selling to your employees. Great benefit to be able to retain employees within your company. It's a great benefit to them. The biggest con to this strategy is that you get paid over time. So you're not going to get the full amount paid up front. You'll get a decent amount up front, but then the majority of it is paid over a period of time. And then in addition to that, it is a very complex structure and it does take some time and it takes a lot of different experts to come together to put this plan in place. And then the last option is passing it down to family. Now, for many business owners I talk to, that's the ideal strategy. But the reality is that it's got to be important to you as well as your family that next generation even wants to take over the business. But let's just say they are, and maybe some of them have been involved in the business for the last few years. This is a great way to make that transition, keep the legacy in your family going, and be able to make a smooth transition once again, similar to the management buyout, where you're able to pass the business on within the second generation. One of the bigger cons to this is the fact that you have what's called being fair versus equal. You may have some kids that are involved in the business, you may have others that are not. And so when that time comes, when you pass and you're trying to determine what happens to the business, there may be some infighting or there may be some challenges trying to balance that fair versus equal. So these are 5 different strategies that you can look at when determining what's the best way to transition out of your business to get to that point where you're starting to enjoy the second stage of your life and at least knowing where to start. So if you have any questions on the different strategies, feel free to reach out. You can hit the link in this video and schedule your free 30-minute strategy session with us. We'll kind of go over the different options in greater detail, learn a little bit more about your company, and find out what is going to be the best option for you. And you can also find us through LinkedIn. We also are on all the different social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. So feel free to reach out, and hopefully this was helpful to you. And thank you for listening.